What's up, guys? You know what it is. Michael Matthew here, back inside of this beautiful arena here at Crypto.com Arena, where the Sparks will be facing off against the Connecticut Sun. No DJ Treacy Treats today, but I got my guy, Elam, here for the Misfits takeover here with LA Sparks Weekly. Elam, this matchup, I think it's a must-win for a team that's saying we're trying to get to the playoffs. They have to try to pick up these two victories versus the Sun and then the Washington Mystics on Tuesday. But it starts tonight. What are you looking for from the Sparks to try to pick up this win?
Man, communication. Communication is key. It's everything out there, not just on the offensive end, but even more importantly, defensively.
Yep.
When it comes to three-point defense, the Sparks are, dare I say, poo cheese. Listen, I know I'm the supervillain of the show. This in every game from here on out is a must-win. If the Sparks are going to make the playoffs, I don't think they're going to win tonight.
Man, see, and I think so. I think that they're going to find a way. They're coming off a tough loss against the Lynx, but the Lynx are the best team in the W. So you expect it. And they play well for 3 quarters. They always find a quarter to where they stink it up, and they did that in the second quarter. But tonight, a team that has struggled with the Connecticut Sun and a team with the Sparks who are like, hey, we're trying to figure it out. They're even making moves, like no Mercedes Russell, so we might be able to see Sanaya Fagan get some burn tonight. But I think the Sparks they're slowly trying to figure it out. But I did like some things in the last game. Julie Van Loo came and lit this thing up. 5 3-pointers made. What did you like about the performance from Julie?
You know what? I think with Julie now on the team and her showing a propensity of knocking down, catch and shoot threes, wide open threes, I think it's going to open up everything for not only Azurá Stevens, who I'm projecting to have a 2010 game, but I think Rickea Jackson is going to have a big game today. Now, the question is, what is Kelsey Plum going to be able to give and deliver? The last game, I want to say she had like 17 assists.
Yeah.
I need KP to take more of a facilitator role in initiating the offense. I want to see her knock down mid-range shots. But if Van Loo can knock down open threes, listen to me, it's going to unlock everything for this offense.
Yeah, and speaking of Van Loo, you have the other Julie Alamon. Since her return, she has kind of got things set in order to allow KP to just roam and do what she do best, to allow Van Loo to get these open shots. So how important is it to have that pure point guard, you know? Especially in today's basketball, a lot of point guards just want to go get buckets, but she's someone that initiates, doesn't really care too much about her stats. It's about making others better, and I think she's kind of been able to do that this far. Have you been seeing the same thing?
Yeah, most definitely. I think Julie, especially, you know, the Sparks decided to let Ari McDonald go.
Yeah.
They
Odyssey
Sims, you know, 2 lefties who can initiate and facilitate. But Julie, like you said, she's not looking necessarily to score. She wants to facilitate the offense. And I think that's what the Sparks need. They need somebody who's committed to initiating the offense, particularly in the third quarter. Now, when they come out of the half, that's when I'm going to look to see what's going to happen on the outcome of this game, because far too often the Sparks, they don't come back and play until the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and that has been a problem for the team. It's like the second and third quarter are the 2 quarters, but I believe that tonight that they're going to find a way. Dearica Hamby, who's been playing basketball, should I say she was a snub from the All-Star team? I think she's done a lot of great things.
She hasn't been necessarily consistent. She does do a ton of great things.
Yeah.
She, you know, she attacks the boards. She's not that great at defense, but she plays with a ton of heart and a ton of effort.
Yeah.
I think if her stats were a little more consistent, she would have been an all-star selection, but you got KP.
No, yeah, and KP has been playing really good ball. Azurá Stevens, who you mentioned. So the Sparks realize, hey, if we want to make a move, Coach talked about it in the presser, it's time to start taking every one of these games serious and really getting after it to try to pick up these victories. But before we go and send you off to the game, as always here with LA Sparks Weekly, we have to give you today's player of the game. Who's that player for you, Elam, that you think that's going to help the Sparks pick up this victory?
Well, seeing as how I said, I don't think the Sparks are going to get this victory.
But who can help? Who can help?
I am looking at Rickea Jackson. Rickea, you're my starter that I'm looking at, but off the bench, I'm looking at the butterfly. Miss Emma Cannon.
Okay.
Those are my two that I'm watching today.
All right. For me, it is Julie. I'm going
Okay.
to go both Julies. Julie Alamon, I think that she's going to have to make sure she creates some easy buckets and actually make some buckets for herself, knock down some open threes. But I think Julie Van Loo, like you said earlier, she's able to unlock something way different because she can catch and shoot. She can shoot it off the dribble, similar to KP. She is somebody that can make a big difference. At first, when they made the move with Odyssey, I was like, what's going on? But now I fully understand it. Van Loo is a different beast and a different animal. So I expect the two Julies to help the Sparks pick up a much-needed victory as they get closer to this All-Star break. Once again, it's the Misfits Takeover. Michael Matthew, my guy Elam, LA Sparks Weekly. We'll see you after the game.
Hello, everyone. How are we doing?
Dave, you want to start us off?
Hey, Coach. Kind of a multi-part question here. Just first, with the Mercedes decision, as far as you know or can divulge, are there plans perhaps at some point to kind of fill that open roster spot? And then in terms of like the immediacy in today's game, is it possible, since she was one of your primary backup bigs, that maybe, we see Sanaya a little bit?
Yeah. Mercedes was great, just a really good human, and I think, we appreciate what she gave us, and she was a great culture person and really great in the locker room. I think it's just, and I'm learning all this in terms of cap space and deadlines and dates and all that. So, that's more of a GM question than me, but certainly enjoyed having Sadie's on our team. Yes, hopefully, Sanaya's going to get an opportunity. Not hopefully, she will get an opportunity, and hopefully she's, I know she's ready. She's been doing a good job at staying engaged. It's hard. It's hard as a rookie anyways, and it's hard when you're not playing to stay engaged, and she's done a good job with that. So, I think this will give her a chance to kind of learn by being out there a little bit more and playing through mistakes and just getting the intensity and the speed of things. So, look forward to seeing that.
Hi, Coach.
Hey,
Carly, 5360 News. Following up to that question, I don't know if you heard one of your former players was also waived recently. So I wanted to see any thoughts with her. And are you, you do release a big, so I'm not sure if that is going with the roster, but she's a totally different type of big.
Yeah, Peely's I love her like a kid of my own. I don't know what we're going to do. Again, GM question. We should bring Reagan up here, give her the hard-hitting question. She'll end up somewhere, and, maybe someday I'll get to coach her again. But, this is part of the process in this league, unfortunately, for young guys. So she's a hell of a player. She really is. So she'll land on her feet. Yeah.
Caitlin, last game, season high in assists and threes. I know those numbers are somewhat correlated, but those are two stats you look at in the signs of a good offense. So what led to those being successful?
Well, I think when we're kind of in attack mode and playing with the pace we want, basketball is a simple game. It's about creating an advantage, whether you set a ball screen to create an advantage, or cutting, you can create an advantage, or just create one on your own to get the defense rotating. That's what we try to do. We try to do it quickly, and then you just make the defense wrong. If they stay out on shooters, then you get to the bucket. If they don't, then you kick it out. You've got to be able to make those reads. So for us, that's the best shots from three are catch and shoot. It's just statistically, analytically, every way you look at it. So anytime we can create a catch and shoot three, we're going to try to do it. So that's why, to me, adding Van Loo is so important. She has the ability to really do that. You saw that last game. We've got to clean up the turnovers, but we shot 50, 40, 90 against Minnesota, but we can't turn it over 20% of our possessions.
Coach John W. Davis with the Southern California News Group. We were talking yesterday. Can you kind of talk to me a little bit more, just a matter of hours before this game, about the urgency and the energy and the effort and everything you want to see defensively against a team that is bottom of the standings, but we see they're hungry, and every once in a while they're catching some teams above them and catching them sleeping and beating them.
Yeah, and if we're not hungry, then we've got a problem. We need to be playing starving like that too, and we've seen stretches of it. You know, I was disappointed in when Minnesota went on their run. Kind of our intensity died. We kind of got punched in the face, theoretically, and we didn't respond right. And so today, what I'm hoping is that we have a little bit of a pissed off group that understands where we, you know, dropped the ball. Again, I don't know what day we played. Thursday. On Thursday. Yeah. So I mean, we're not in a situation to overlook anyone. And you know, if we're doing that, I don't think we are. I haven't sensed that from any player. But you know, Connecticut's in a similar situation where they're fighting for every win. And, I'm sure we'll get their best effort. Good grief, they should. I hope they get ours.
Hey, Coach. There's only a couple of games left before the All-Star break. Are there potential pitfalls or complications with keeping a team kind of focused on the task at hand when there is a break coming up in about a week?
Potentially, I haven't seen it. I have not sensed that at all. You know, maybe Tuesday's game would bring a little of that more potentially, but you know what I do love about this group is they want to do right. They want to succeed. They want to get this franchise back where it belongs, and we will get it there. Like we will. But you know, it's a process, and so you know you cannot think about a break when you're trying to prove yourself and establish yourself in this league. So my hope is that we look at it. Let's empty the tank for 48 hours. 72 hours, and then enjoy the break. And that's how I'm approaching it. But, you know, it's really not like they get a ton of time either. It's 4 days, something like that, which is in this league a long time. It's an eternity. But, you know, we need to take care of business and be present.
Coach Michael Matthew, LA Sparks Weekly. With you guys coming up close to the All-Star break and, you know, wanting to fight to possibly get into the playoffs there at the end of the season.
Yeah.
Do you look at these two games kind of as must-wins?
Yeah, I hesitate saying must win. I think we're approaching them all as the same, you know. But yeah, I mean, for us to make the playoffs, which is we're 20 games in, our record is not what I wanted it to be, but it is what it is, and we can still do that. We can still make the playoffs. But we got to. So when you use the word urgency or must wins, like we've got to start it now, right? So there's urgency now. But I'm such a believer in being present, and if you think about all you're thinking about is making the playoffs, it's going to be really hard to win today. So we got to just focus on Connecticut, and then you know wake up tomorrow and focus on Washington. So it's one game at a time, and I know those are coaching cliches, but it's for a reason.
Rickea with the LA Times. Coach, I have two questions. Super different, but my first question is, your first year the head coach of this program, what has challenged or surprised you the most on a professional bench compared to the NCAA? My second question is, you know, you have the relationships with Corey Close and with Lindsay Gottlieb. In what ways have you guys worked together to kind of elevate women's basketball in LA, especially how much talent there is, you know, at a young age?
What's been the biggest surprise, like just kind of from college to pros? I don't know if it's been like a surprise but the players are so good, you know, at every team. To make a team in this league, you have to be really good. So that part for me, as a basketball nerd, is really fun. You know, I enjoy the pace is different, not just the pace of the games, 24-second shot clock. It's just a lot faster, which I love, but also the pace of games, just how many games you're playing in a kind of a compacted time frame. But I like that too. In terms of LA basketball, yeah, I mean, I've competed in the Pac-12 against Lindsay and Corey for years, even when Lindsay was at Cal. And so they are good friends of mine, and I do know that all three of us are very aligned in keeping this city, this area, as a destination for women's basketball. And I know they're both recruiting internationally, and you know, players on our team from all over. But we all share the vision that this could be just kind of a women's basketball hotbed. And there is so much talent in the area. The young girls coming up, it's pretty fun.
Edwin Garcia, Thurston Road Coach. This is the first of 3 matchups you have against the Sun. Based on what you've seen from them on tape, what makes them a challenging team to play against?
I do think, they've been hit with injuries and all sorts of things too, but they've got one of the best players in the history of our game, Tina Charles. She's really good. You don't need me to sit up here and tell you that. But I think she's second all-time leading scorer in the league. And, for me, watching them, they go as she goes. And it's not just, if she's playing well and scoring, everybody plays with a little more swagger, a little more confidence, a little more aggressiveness. So our challenge is to try to slow her down. And you're not going to hold the second all-time leading scorer to 0, but we've got to be locked in. It's not just, if Dearica's matched up on her, it's not just good luck, Dearica, Godspeed, hope you do well. We've all got to be engaged, and it's got to be five of us out there defending them, but knowing that she's kind of the engine of that group.
We'll finish on Zoom with Dearica.
Hey, Coach, 2 questions for you. Number one, just can you talk about the emergence of Azurá and just how important so she's become such a key piece for this team? Can you talk a little bit about that? And then second question, for Connecticut, Layla LeJean, she's been someone who has kind of provided a spark for them in these couple of games. How hard or challenging is it to kind of scout for a player like her who's coming from the international level that doesn't have a lot of film, but you can see the impact she's making?
Yeah, great question. What was your first one? I got stuck on McCon. Oh, Azurá, sorry.
The first was on Azurá.
Yeah. Sorry. Azurá's been amazing and just steady. And, she didn't have a great game individually against Minnesota, and I know that ticked her off. So I anticipate her to be, extra locked in today. But I've described her as kind of the linchpin. When she's scoring, I think we're really good offensively. And when she's defending the way she's capable of and blocking shots and rebounding, we're really good defensively. So she's been kind of a X factor for us in that regard. She's also, the thing I appreciate about her is she's just so steady, consistent as just a human. You never have to wonder what Azurá you're going to get today. She's the same. Just, you could say low maintenance in that regard, which I really appreciate. She's for the team. She's about the team. She's about winning. So she's been phenomenal for us. And McCann, she's played 3 games, I think, and you can see her role every game getting bigger and bigger. She plays with so much energy and life, and she's a great defender, super active and athletic. She kind of reminds me of our Ray Burrell in terms of how she plays. But yeah, you can tell that she's a good fit for their system and with Rashid, and she's going to be a good player for them.
Thanks, Azurá.
All right, appreciate you guys.
How does that feel just to be able to come back to the city and be able to move back to such a level? Are you a little giddy to that?
Man, it's kind of hard to verbalize what it's like, coming back home and playing. It's like a dream. Like, since the first day I dribbled the ball, the ultimate goal was to turn pro. So now just to be back from where it all started, coming here watching Lakers games as a youngin', sports game, to now real life playing on the court. So it's a blessing for sure.
Rickea, what would you tell 10-year-old Rickea about her journey to get to this point?
Man, what's crazy? Actually, I had this letter that I wrote my freshman year at USC, and I found it my senior year. Like, I was packing my house down, and I found that. So it's like, whenever I'm thinking back to my younger self, like even now my rookie year, I wrote a letter to myself to reflect on, one day when I eventually retire. So just thinking back on my younger self and really realize how I made it, how countless hours turned into reality, turned into me chasing my dream. Because like we all know from the W, any day your job could be, on to the next man. So to be here is everything.
Rickea, talk to your former coach, Courtney Jacob.
Hey.
Seeing you grow from a freshman at USC, you came from LA, and now you're in the W. Just what's that testament of what's in the water here in LA that make it compete anymore?
One, shout out to Jacob, for real, much love. But honestly, it's a testament to, what we do. Being at SC, a lot of dogs there. That's one thing, Lindsay does well too, is help players get to the next level. The program now is a lot of new faces, but honestly, I feel like for me, just being here, I grew up in LA, I went to high school, in California, I went to college in California. So for me, it's just oh my gosh, I don't even know how to enjoy this moment, but I'm just soaking it all in right now.
What has been your favorite moment so far this year as a rookie?
I remember my first game, I checked in, they called my name to like take into the game, and I ran to like the wrong check-in table, and I'm just like taking my clothes off. They like, ran, like that's not where you check in at, and I was just like so nervous. But when I got in and just like got my first bucket, it was like, okay, like this is real life now. And then just FaceTiming my family after, so that was huge for me.
Have you had a welcome to the W moment yet? And if so, what was it?
Everything, man, it's humbling out there. I'm out there, I remember one time, Courtney Williams was out there trolling me from the bench. I was out there in the game, and she said, my team was telling her teammate, like, sit on that. And my teammate scored. I was like, that's how you shut up. That's how you shut up. Put it up. And she said something, and I just like stuck with me. I ain't gonna expose what she said, but I was like, you know what? I'm hungry for the next one for sure.
And what are some of the biggest things that you learned at USC under Coach Goddard that you've been able to take to the W to kind of help you?
Wow. A lot of things, honestly. I feel like how intense our scout was kind of prepared me for a professional scout. Because one thing about the pros, you don't get a week to prepare. I mean, we literally had 1 day to prepare for this game. So I would say, also another thing that I will say literally translated from SC onto the court is our ball screen coverage. A lot of colleges, I feel like they sit in like one ball screen coverage, the entire game. But at SC, they taught me how to tilt. Like if we're playing the left-hand opponent, on this side of the court we want to do this, on this side of the court we want to do that, and that's exactly how it is in a pro. So I was able to adjust to scouts fast, defensive calls and whatnot, so that actually really helped me this time.
Sparks Weekly fans, you just saw your Los Angeles Sparks pick up their second home victory of the season, knocking off the Connecticut Sun 92-88, proving this guy wrong and proving to him that the sun doesn't always shine in Connecticut. Elam, I see you shaking your head. What did you see with this game, with the Sparks being able to take this home victory?
I'm sorry. Hey, that's my fault for doubting these Sparks. Listen, Coach was talking to me in the presser. She said a little bit about championship habits. I don't know if you all saw, but Dearica Hamby, the last defensive play of the game, KP turns the ball over.
Yeah.
She sprints down and blocks a shot that would have put the game within reach.
Yeah.
That is the difference. This team is starting to do little things that they normally would wilt and falter and crumble. They're starting to build momentum off of that. That was the difference today. That and a little bit of offensive rebound.
Yeah, and just offense, period. Like, I really like what I seen. Like, this looked like one of the first games where the ball was moving well, players were moving. Also led to 22 assists on 35 makes, 4 players scoring in double figures, led by Kelsey Plum, who helped close the door.
Who came alive in the fourth.
Man, who did her thing. And then Azurá Stevens with 21 and 11. But we got to talk about Rickea because she kind of got things going for the Sparks early. Like you said, that's something you did get right. But she started off 17 first half points. What did you see that helped her kind of get going early on in the game?
Listen, she was getting to her spots.
Yes.
Anything that she wanted to do, she was able to do. Rickea played with confidence. She didn't hesitate. She wasn't playing timid. She was going to the left, spinning right, coming back to that 1 foot fadeaway that I absolutely love.
Or Dirk.
Listen, when Rickea is playing with confidence, this is the type of game that you're going to get, especially when shots are falling early for her. She's just able to build off of that. And I think the team really, was able to galvanize around that because a lot of them weren't hitting shots in the first half.
Yep.
Azurá, KP, I want to say were around, single digits in the first half. But
yeah, Rickea
kept them afloat.
Yeah, and you like to see that from her. You want to see her be more aggressive. She ended up with 19 points, but you just like to see her in attack mode, getting to those spots. I think that's key to what Coach has to talk to her about. Get to your spots and then running some plays for her to get her in those spots where she can attack one-on-one, looking really good, a lot like the player that so many people were excited about coming into the season. I really enjoyed what I saw from Julie Alleman. I think with the offense moving the way that it did today, the way that she was able to set people up. She finished the game with 6 assists, just initiating the offense, making things easier for KP to where KP, we don't need you to get 12 assists tonight. We want you to be a score-first player, and that's when she's at her best. It helps give her the space that she needs, and she was able to play some really good basketball.
And it's crazy that you and that was your player of the game.
Yep.
Julie, her impact, her fingerprints aren't going to fill up the box score. But if you were watching this game,
the
Sparks looked noticeably different when Julie had the ball and she was facilitating the offense. It spread things out. It made things easy, not only for KP, but Z, Dearica, Rickea, like everybody. So shout out to you for picking Julie Alleman, and shout out to me for picking Rickea as a player of the game. The outcome isn't what I predicted, but that was a reverse psychology on the universe.
He's just trying to, give them a little. They watched the show, so hopefully they saw it and was like, "Hey, we got to come and play well."
We got to shut them up.
What they were talking about. But before we get you to the presser with Coach, with Azurá and Kelsey Plum, I want to show some love to Ray Burrell, man. She really did some really good things. Her energy, her athleticism
noticeably
is really great for this team. She had 7 points. She's very feisty, picked up a tech. She did her thing on tonight. But don't just listen to me and Eric. Listen to Coach, listen to Azurá, and listen to KP as they talk about today's victory.
Pre-game, you talked about the team being pissed off, being a pissed off group. And I was just curious, with this win today, this afternoon, is this what a pissed off team looks like to you?
I said we should be, right? Like, we need to play with that way. Both the Connecticut and us are scrapping for wins, and I thought we came out certainly aggressive, but this league is so good. If that's the team that at the bottom of the standings today, like, it tells you how good this league is, right? But I thought that we came out aggressive, and Dearica and Sanaya and Z did a phenomenal job on Tina. 3 for 10, and that was the game plan. I think they shot really well, better than they had, especially in that first half. It was crazy, and we needed to pick up our defensive intensity, but that's a good job by them, adjusting, making shots. But overall, yeah, I thought we stayed in it. I never sensed the team get tight or out of the kind of the flow of it. Everybody's going to make runs, and they did, and we answered.
Third row over here, Cameron.
Hi, Coach. As Ray kind of works her way back into the lineup and the rotation, can you talk a little bit about what you saw from her tonight? She came out really aggressive and did some good things.
Yeah, she brings energy, and I mean, in our locker room, she brings energy. You know when she's there, and I think that matters. I think you see that on the floor too. So she's just the Energizer Bunny, and I think Kelsey and I were just talking about it, that Ray puts pressure on the defense, puts pressure on the rim. She's so athletic, and I feel like she's getting into a groove, and I'm figuring out a rotation with having these guys back. So, she's long and so athletic and so aggressive. I think you're seeing why she's so valuable to us.
Two questions. Coach, during the pregame presser, you said that you're confident that the Fortress will improve. You're starting to get healthy, and the team continue to play with intensity and focus. What championship habits is the team forming, and how did that show up tonight? And then either KP or Z, when you see Dearica hustle on that last defensive play of the game, blocking the shot, what type of message does that send to the team?
Well, I'll answer that, and that I was going to answer that with that play, and I just told the team that was my favorite play of the game. We're up 4. Kelsey, they kind of...
I gotta pick that up, Corey.
No. I think it was a little physical contact, right? They're going for a steal, and if it's called a foul, but instinct is to just let them get the 2, and Dearica sprinted back and blocked it, and that's what winning teams do. That's what a champion mindset is, and you have to act that way before it happens, right? And so that's what we've been talking about since the Minnesota game, is kind of those habits. And that was a great example. But he asked the 2-parter.
Yeah, like Coach said, I mean, that was a championship play, just D running back, getting the block. And I think it sends that message that, we're trying to build those habits, and, the wins will come, but we're trying to build those small habits on the daily.
John Davis with the Southern California News Group. Speaking of building those habits, what does it mean to you, Kelsey and Azurá, to get this done in the second half, to be so gritty, not to, let it get away from you, and just really win this game down the stretch?
I think it just shows growth. Like Coach said, we weren't really rattled. They came back and hit some runs, but we had found a way to answer, and I think it shows maturity and growth. I think throughout the season we've seen that. Sometimes when we get punched by teams, we tend to crumble, but I think today we stuck together, and we came back and got stops, and then came down and put the pressure on them offensively. So I think it just shows maturity and growth for our team.
Michael Matthew, LA Sports Week. KP, this is for you. It seems like you guys really emphasized player movement, ball movement early in the game and throughout pretty much, and it opened up for you there in the second half because the defense was so much on the move. What were you able to see late for you to turn it on to take this game?
Yeah, I was just trying to be patient, pick my spots, and I think we've gotten better at our spacing. I'm someone that thrives in space, and so just trying to be patient early, give it up, and then knowing that throughout the game people are hitting shots, and then the lane starts to open up, and I'm able to make it wiggle. So that was we're just trying to be patient and trust that it's going to come, and then just try to be like an assassin and strike.
And I don't think it can be understated. Some of those finishes she had were unbelievable, and her ability to do that. But she works on all that, and her work ethic is unmatched. And it's a luxury as a coach when you need a bucket, when you can have someone that can go find it. And It wasn't like Connecticut was surprised that she was trying to score, and even still, she gets those to fall, and we're lucky to have her.
Dearica with the LA Times. Coach, a two-party question. First of all, Dearica, Rickea, and Azurá combined for 57 points. Can you just speak to how they capitalize on their size, strength, and speed tonight? Also, you mentioned before the game Azurá being a steady, constant, presence on this team. How important is she in that kind of game, though, so high pressure, kind of wire-to-wire game towards the end?
Yeah. Well, I think, if the starting group we have, and particularly Rickea, Dee, Azurá, and Kelsey scoring-wise, Julie is phenomenal at facilitating and making sure we're organized. Her stat line doesn't do justice for her impact. But, I thought Rickea was phenomenal, and she was aggressive. She's a tough guard, and 6'2", 6'3", and, she's a tough guard, and she set the tone, and they had a hard time containing her in space. And then down the stretch, Sanaya Rivers was on a little bit of a tear, and Rickea went in there and she didn't score again. Like, those are things that, again, don't show up in the stats, but were huge. Dearica's defense, and then, particularly in the pick and rolls, and she was so active today. And then in answer to Z, I've said it, she doesn't get the respect she deserves on the national scale, and what she's consistently done. I mean, it's not just, she had a great game. She's had a great season. And I was just teasing her. She could have had a 30-piece if she would have knocked in some of those layups. But, we'll take her another double-double from her. 5 for 8 from 3. Just, she's just steady. And our team needs that.
All right. Kelsey, Coach talked about, and she also played different rotations today. Can you talk about how you were able to flow offensively today?
Yeah, I mean, the space, and I think, we went small, and we started playing a little bit faster, and, like a little bit more spread out, and I thought it was, really good for us. Obviously, we're going to have to figure out, just like, that was the first time we've done it in a live game setting, and there's not much practice time just in the season, so just continuing to build off of that, but, again, I thrive in space. That's where my bread and butter is, and so just trying to, like I said earlier, just be patient and then punch the gaps. And if the defense commits, kick it. But I think the defense started to get a little bit tight on their man, and so I was able to go to the hole.
First row here, Stevens, you caught fire there at the beginning of the third quarter. I think you scored 8 straight points. What were you seeing there on the floor that you were able to take advantage of?
Yeah, I think just getting into spots. When KP drives down, I'm always trying to read if I should stay out, cut into the basket, and she does a great job of finding me just on the perimeter, so all I have to do is knock it down. But I just try to come out, be aggressive, get into spots where my teammates could just hit me and then knock shots in.
Yes. Azurá, this isn't the first time your coach has gone to bat for you to the media, and your teammates have done the same thing, calling you underrated, you don't get the love that you deserve. When you hear your coach and your teammates say that, first off, what does that mean to you? And secondly, do you want more acclaim for what you do? Does that even matter to you?
First, I am so appreciative of my teammates and Coach Lynn. From day one, they've just come in and just, believed in me, and I think we can see that on the court. They're always finding me in really good spots, so it makes my job easy just to knock in shots and kind of cut and try to find ways to score that way. But, I don't play for that. I play for the team. I play for the Sparks. I play for, my family, myself, just to go out and put on a good show and be consistent. That's been one of my goals coming into this year, is to be consistent. So, respectfully, I don't care what the media thinks. I'm just trying to do my job and play hard for these guys and for other people in my life.
We'll end with Dave here in the front rows.
For Coach, pregame you said that Sanaya was definitely going to get a chance tonight. I thought there were 2 plays that kind of stood out. One when she dove to the rim and then immediately kicked out to Azurá, which ultimately led to a 3. And then that big block on Bria Hartley that stopped an easy bucket. Had a couple possessions matched up against Tina Charles. Just what did you see from her out there tonight?
Yeah, it's funny you bring up that pass, because our staff, we were all talking about, great decision. Sometimes you get in there and it's a little bit, when you haven't played in a while, and that was a great read. You can see her potential, and she's a big, strong player. She'll get better with more minutes, but I thought she was good, I told her, she missed a shot, and I was like, that's all right, you got the next one. And then she fired a 3. So she's ready. She's ready. But I love the energy and the enthusiasm, and there's a joy that she brings, which is fun. And I liked our rotations tonight. I thought we're still a work in progress, and today was better.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you all. Go Sparks.
So we're back. We just heard from Coach. We heard from KP, Azurá, and I really love how they was bigging up Azurá there in the presser.
That's family. That's connectivity.
She has been playing some great basketball. Like she said, she came into the season wanting to be more consistent. She has been exactly that. Elam, 21 and 11 rebounds. What's your thoughts on what we're seeing from Azurá?
Listen, I think she arguably was the biggest snub from All-Star game consideration.
Ooh, that's big.
Azurá Stevens deserves to be in the All-Star game. So, God forbid anybody gets injured. But if so, Azurá's phone should be the first one
Not
ringing.
Dearica?
Azurá Stevens should be the first one ringing.
No, I like that, man. But just the team, they looked really well today. Pace has been something that Coach has been preaching at the beginning of the season. KP was talking about it tonight through the press. She said, if you want me at my best, I need that space. And they were able to do that tonight with the moving pieces offensively. But I just like the fact that the defense was able to get things together. The way that they made it tough on Tina Charles. She came in as that player for the Connecticut Sun. She was 3 for 10, and they made it tough for her. What did you like from the defense, especially the bigs? Sanaya Fagan got in the game and was able to do some things there.
Listen. I'm gonna say something that's a little off kilter, off brand. I like the mere fact that they were able to draw 3 offensive fouls on Olivia Nelson-Nadota.
That's real.
That was huge because that ultimately took her out the game.
Yep.
And when it came down to crunch time, she was on the bench because she had fouled out. So that's what I love.
No, and this team was aggressive. They looked like a team that was kind of desperate. And maybe they're looking like a team like, hey, we just got this game and we got Tuesday, then we're going to get a little break. But they took care of business, doing what they're supposed to do, knocking off a team with only 3 wins. So shout out to the Sparks. But before we get out of here, Elam, you know how it works here with LA Sparks Weekly. We got to pick our player of the game. Who do you have for your player of the game?
I picked Rickea. I'm sticking with Rickea. She held the fort down in the first half. Without her input, without her contribution, Sparks don't win.
Okay. For me, I'm going to switch it up. I love what Julie did, of course. But KP, I always give her a hard time. And I'm like, if you want to be the best player.
She could tell.
No, yeah. If you want to be the best player, you got to show up, And she has been doing it. Last game, 17-12. This game, she was the closer, picking her spots. And I just love the fact that with the Julies on the squad, Julie Van Loo and Julie Alleman, that she's able to be more of a true shooting guard and be that type of player. And it's perfect and it's exactly what the team needs. So shout out to you, KP. I got to show you some love. And show love to the Sparks, man. They pick up this win, their second home win.
And the 7th.
Yeah, 7th of the season. But
listen,
man.
This is the first in a 7-game series. They about to go streaking.
Okay, I like that. And I'm hoping they do, not like Will Ferrell streaking on old school, but picking up some wins, man. So exciting times. We're going to be back here Tuesday. They face off against the Washington Mystics. Going to be a much tougher game. But
it's winnable.
Yeah,
it's
very winnable. Very winnable. So we thank you guys for the Misfits Takeover, LA Sparks Weekly. We'll catch you guys next time.